One last thing. Expansion.
Oh, boy.
34 teams seems like the real possibility. It seems like the two cities that are likely going to be getting it is Houston and Atlanta.
Well, here's the thing. You're going to hear outrage up here in the Great White North about that. I think Houston is justified. Houston's a market that has not been tested before. Houston's one of the biggest cities in the United States. I feel like Houston getting a team is fine by me. Atlanta is still, it's a big market. I get that. You've been there twice before. Under bad ownership, I'll give you that. It hasn't worked. And if they go back to Atlanta and it doesn't work, I don't want to see them go back ever again.
I agree. I think this is the third and final try. This is the last straw, essentially. If this doesn't work out, they ain't going back to Atlanta.
But they're again. Putting it in the suburbs, which I kind of think is smarter because if you've been to Atlanta downtown is there's no one there. It's hard to get. It's really hard to get into Atlanta downtown. The traffic in Atlanta is insane. Putting it.
Have you been to Atlanta?
I've been to Atlanta, yeah.
Oh, wow! Look at you. You've been everywhere.
If you put it in Forsyth County, which I think is a smart move. Yes, if you live in the Atlanta metro area, in downtown and around there, it might be hard to get to. There's no transit out there either. So, but you're putting it near where the Braves are. So I think it's a smart move.
It is, yeah. I mean, again, you see teams with that, the Flyers have one where it's a sporting complex. All the arenas are within each other. I think putting the arenas close to each other is smart. Not having have people travel to a completely different area for one arena and then completely different area for another arena. I think it's smart. Again, I do agree with you. There's going to be a lot of outrage in Canada, especially about, not giving another Canadian team a shot. I wonder, and again, I feel like we've had this conversation before. It would never happen, but, the Steve Dangle podcast was discussing, what if there was a second team that came to Toronto? But hear me out with this one.
Okay, I'll hear you out.
So, you know how the Leafs season tickets have been going up? And essentially, it's become impossible for families to afford them, and it's all suits. Again, that's the joke we make on this podcast. The Steve Dangle podcast suggested, what if somebody with a lot of money came in, put another team in the Toronto or Ontario area and made it a family environment team?
So you want to put the Islanders, an Islander-style team in Toronto?
Yeah, they would always be the Mets. They would always be the Islanders. But, it could show what Toronto could be if you made it, a family-type environment there.
I don't hate the idea. I just feel like you can't put it in Toronto, though. You have to put it in probably Hamilton.
Yeah, that would be what they would do.
Because there's no way. Because you're not going to convince the Leafs to split Scotia.
That would make traffic hell. That would make traffic a living hell.
So for Toronto, usually most people just subway to the game. Is Subway GO train to the game?
Yeah, but some people do drive, and that driving is.
And finding parking downtown Toronto. Ooh, oh, buddy.
Yeah, good luck.
But yeah, I don't hate that idea. I feel like, first of all, you have to talk about. I want to let you know when the Ottawa Senators came to Ottawa, the Leafs sued them for territorial rights. You didn't know that, did you?
I want to hear this story. No, I didn't know that.
When the Sens came in, the Leafs sued them because they said that's our territory. And eventually the judge is like, they're 5 hours away. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah. I mean, if Ottawa had a team when Toronto was there before,
even Montreal. Montreal's closer to Ottawa than Toronto is, and they didn't sue.
Yeah,
here's the thing, though. Toronto. You put a team in their backyard, they're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
I feel like we see the same thing happen again. I think Toronto would claim territory. And I want to put an example. Formerly the Oakland Athletics, tried to get a stadium in San Jose. And the San Fran Giants said, no, that's our territory. And they couldn't do it. So the Leafs can just say one thing, boom, our territory.
True. I agree. I could see that, but
I want to put this very clearly, and I want to make this like, here's the thing: I'm for another team coming in to Canada. I think even 8 is perfect. I want to say this:
yeah.
I feel like if they're going to do it, it's going to be a Toronto team, and I want to see Quebec City come back so bad. I would love to see it, but I want to make this very clear: the market's not big enough. The market is crazed. Yes, not big enough. You're in Montreal's territory. I want to see it come back, but I've come to the point where it's like Quebec is never getting their team back.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I would love to see it, and if it happens, great. If it doesn't, oh well. And I love to see it happen. Like, I want to see more teams in Canada. I get they want to expand to different markets, but like, this is your bread and butter. Like, you can't tell me the Leafs and Habs and the Canucks together don't garner for some of the best revenue in the league.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Overall, I believe that if a Canadian team were to come in, it would be in that area. I don't think we would see a team like in Saskatchewan or anything like that. Unfortunately,
Saskatchewan's smaller than Quebec City, I believe. So.
Yeah. Quebec City just doesn't seem like a reality at this point, unfortunately. Yeah. Maybe in the future, but just like, I'm going to be honest, with how I don't want to make this politics, but with the Canada economy, I just don't know if I can see, like, I mean, and that's saying, like, for Canada as a whole. I just don't know if I can see a team coming to Canada with how
yeah,
it is
but
right now.
You seem to think that the players get paid in American money. The revenue is in American money. I don't think that's really an issue. If the dollar was like where it was in the 90s, then we could have that conversation. But I feel like another team in Canada isn't going to hurt anybody. I feel like they get us to 8. I'm sick of, like up here we have Hockey Day in Canada, and someone always ends up playing like Boston or like Minnesota.
Yeah, they ain't Canadian. They're
American.
And it would be cool, like doing a Hockey Day in Canada and have all the Canadian teams.
Yeah,
play
so like you would
other.
have the Battle of Quebec, the Battle of Ontario, Battle of Alberta, and then Winnipeg, Vancouver.
Yeah, Battle of the West. I mean, actually, Alberta's between.
Yeah, they're between them. Yeah.
Minnesota. Anyways,
but yeah, I feel like we said, like Houston makes sense. It'd be Battle of Texas.
Yeah, that'll be
fun.
That
would be fun.
That's an untapped market too. Like, I mean, like they have teams there, but it's an untapped market.
I do feel like there's teams there's markets in the States I feel like should get explored.
Kansas
like the City is one of them. Portland, Oregon, even Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I know it's very close to Chicago, but like Milwaukee, I'm trying to think. There's another hole. There's a huge hole in the West. We saw Omaha, Nebraska express interest.
I could see that. I think we even said it like it'd be more like a minor league team. Honestly, for Nebraska, it's just in the middle of nowhere.
New Orleans expressed interest, which for me that makes no sense.
Yeah, apparently they had a productive meeting about it. I mean, I get New Orleans. I like New Orleans better than Nebraska because Nebraska is like in the middle of nowhere. Like it's in the middle of the country. The closest city to it, I think, is either Colorado or Texas, and it ain't
Colorado.
It ain't that close.
I think it's Utah actually.
No, Colorado.
Oh no, it's Colorado. Yeah, they border each other. Yeah, like New Orleans to me makes no sense because they barely support the Pelicans. They love their Saints. They love their New Orleans Saints. But the arena they have right now for the Pelicans, which is the basketball team, it's run down. It's straight out of like if we had like bar rescue, but for like sporting venues.
Oh yeah, I love bar rescue.
It would be like this. Like it would be like a arena rescue. They would be high on the list. I hate to break it to you. It'd be high on the list. But yeah,
agree.
I'm not for expansion right now. I feel like you need to wait another 5 years.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see it like as soon as like. Well, we're not going to see it next year because you can't play an expansion.
No, I feel like this is 4 to 6 years down the road.
Yeah, so I think we can see it back then, and with the cap blowing up.
Eventually, they're going to get to 36. I think I've come to that conclusion that they're going to get to 36, and then I think they're going to stop.
Yeah, and then I think they should stop. Like they're going into a completely untapped no other team in the NHL has that
No
many
other
teams.
sports league has more than 32 teams.
Yeah. Even like MLB, I think only has 30.
Yeah, NFL is 32, NHL is 32, basketball and baseball at 30. Just like I think it's because the expansion fee is so much money, and the NHL just profits off it.
Yeah, to be honest. I mean, everybody talks about the competitive level. I think that you can manage it. I don't know about 36 freaking teams though. 34, I think I could see. 36, and then you're getting into a little conversation about playoffs too.
If you expand, you have to expand the playoffs. Like
yeah, you cannot keep the playoffs the same they are. I'm sorry, Bettman. You cannot keep the playoffs the same way they are if you're expanding. Do a play-in.
Yeah, I feel like if you have we have a 16 team playoff right now. Let's say if we get 36, that's 20 teams missing the playoffs.
Over half the league.
And sometimes look at baseball for years. Only the top teams made the playoffs for years. That's why baseball. That's why baseball postseason streaks were so long, because you need to be a top team. Like the Royals had a long 25-year playoff drought. The Blue Jays had a long 24-year playoff drought.
Didn't the White Sox?
The White Sox have made the playoffs 8 times.
Yeah, and how long have they been around?
A while. They've been around.
They missed the playoffs for 70 years in a row.
I think it was 40. It was 40 years.
Somebody went through almost an entire lifetime. Somebody went through a whole life sentence in prison, and they came back and the White Sox
40 to life. Y'all still have made the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. It's sad, to be honest, with the MLB the way things are. But again, you need to change. There's a lot of changes that need to come, and it's going to be a whole discussion, especially if they expand in the next couple of years.
They're going to do this, and then after this is done, Bama's going to retire, and then whoever's the new commissioner is going to deal with this.
Probably. That's probably what's going to happen. I don't know. It's going to be a big thing.
It's a huge question mark because this isn't official yet. This hasn't been announced.
No,
this could be something. It could just be nothing, though.
It could. It very well could.